Hi, vacation rental owner or manager. I'm Cara, and I've designed dozens of STRs, all of which charge in the top 10% of their area competitors. This podcast is going to be a gold mine. If you've ever stood in one of your smaller vacation units, maybe a studio or a one-bedroom STR, and thought, how do I make this feel amazing and be able to charge a premium rate and not feel cramped? How can I do all of that at once? If that sounds familiar, keep listening. Hi, vacation rental owner. Welcome to Step Up Your STR, the podcast all about decorating your STR for maximum revenue. This episode, and actually the next one too, is all about how to design a small short-term rental space in a way that's high impact, revenue boosting, and honestly a joy to walk into. Now, this will be great, especially if you're an owner who's already in the game. You have more than one property, so you're not just dipping your toes in, you're invested and you're serious about taking things to the next level. We'll be talking about some high-level decor strategies. So you're ready to improve your revenue, and you know that decor has a direct impact on that. How much or how little revenue you earn directly correlates with how good or how bad the decor is in your rental. I also know that so many of you are willing to invest in the right design decisions, those that get great ROI. That's exactly what I'm here to help you with. What we're going to walk through today are real, practical space maximizing strategies that will help a small unit look, feel, and book like it's worth more than it is. And not just because you've packed it with stuff. Quite the opposite, because every design choice is strategic, edited, and intentional. We're not going to fill the space, we're going to maximize it visually, functionally, and even emotionally. That's where this decorating magic will be. All right, grab a notebook or open the Notes app on your phone and we will dive in. First, one of the fastest ways to make a small STR feel bigger and more luxurious is with a tight, intentional color palette. And I mean tight. We're not doing 5 or 6 colors all competing for attention. We're not trying to match a teal to an orange to a bright blue. We're actually going to do 1 or 2 base neutrals and 1 or maybe 2 vivid colors, vivid accent colors, and that's the maximum. So for your base, use those neutrals. And I recommend this for the entire base, the entire shell of your property. Like use all beige or beige and tan. So 2 neutrals that are similar to each other. Having a uniform base really opens up a space and feels harmonious. A tight palette helps your eye move easily across the space, which, spoiler alert, that is what makes rooms feel bigger. Every new color or pattern is a visual stop sign. So if you have too many of them or even a few of them, it feels busy, disjointed, small. Small spaces cannot afford that kind of visual clutter. So instead, use color really strategically. With the bold colors you use, they can show up in a velvet pillow, a lamp base, a large piece of art is a great place, and scatter that color strategically throughout the room. This kind of repetition creates a rhythm in your space. It feels sophisticated, like there's a designer behind it. And just to be clear, that neutral shell doesn't mean boring. It means controlled, a palette that flows. And when the walls, the sofa, the curtains are all speaking the same language, that whole space feels open. That's your goal. Number 2, scale down, but don't skimp. This is a hill I will die on. A small space means you must have properly scaled furniture. Scale is so easy to get wrong. I I can't tell you how many times I've seen an 8-foot sectional shoved into a 500 square foot unit. Now, no shade here. We all want to offer comfort, but if the furniture dominates the room, you're making it feel smaller, not more luxurious or more comfortable. So go instead with apartment-sized pieces. Think a 72-inch sofa instead of an 8-footer. Think round dining tables instead of bulky rectangles that butt up against every wall. Think chairs and seating with lower backs or armless accent chairs that still feel really chic, but don't take up visual space. It's about proportion. You want to create a feeling and create a moment in time for your guests that feels generous for the scale of the room, not forced. Now, scaling down does not mean going cheap. In fact, it's the opposite. You can make a small space like a beautiful little jeweled music box. Truly, the smaller the space, the more important each piece becomes. So yes, get the apartment-sized sofa, but make sure it's the right sofa. Super high quality, something with beautiful fabric, maybe on legs to show some air underneath. And we'll go through legs in a little bit. But you want to have that sofa for it to have shape and intention and style. That's how you make people feel like they're getting something special. You really are giving them something special when the decor is on point. And let me just throw in this. When everything is scaled properly, it's easier to photograph. You're going to get better photos. That matters because that'll get you a better listing and higher conversions. Number 3, go vertical. If your square footage is limited, you better believe that you need to start thinking vertically, not just about what is on the floor. So the eye goes where you tell it to. And when you design upward, you make the ceiling feel higher and the room feel bigger. So use storage with height. Get slim bookshelves. Get a slim but tall hutch. On bookshelves, if you do get those bookshelves, make sure they have covered cabinets. So cabinets on the bottom with closed doors. Mount wall hooks so people can hang their coats and bags and you don't have to have a couple of bulky closets taking up room. Add wall-mounted shelves or floating nightstands, floating bathroom vanities. Those really make a space look and feel bigger because there literally is more floor space when items are mounted up off the floor. Now here's a key. Everything vertical should still be beautiful. We are not going to jam in some rickety bookcase you found in the back of your garage. Remember, the smaller the space, the more important each piece becomes. We need to choose pieces that look amazing and that hide clutter, that offer smart storage to look like they were meant to be in that room. So definitely go for closed storage when you can. This means drawers instead of open baskets, cabinets with doors instead of all open shelves filled with stuff. And consider multi-purpose pieces like a coffee table that can pop up for storage inside. These will stretch your storage and stretch functionality while keeping your spaces or keeping your surfaces beautiful and clear. You want to give your guests storage that's easy to use, but also hidden and out of the way. That's how you make a space feel intentional, but also have it be well organized and easy to use and create a wonderful experience for them. On to number 4, rounded furniture for better flow. In a small space, you need good circulation because that equals more space. And that doesn't mean just walking room. It means emotional flow as well. You don't want guests to have to dodge sharp corners or squeeze past furniture just to open a door. And that's why I love rounded furniture pieces in a tight footprint. So, for example, a round dining table, especially one with one pedestal vase, one big leg, a pedestal base, that does wonders in a compact dining nook. It softens the room. It literally removes hard edges. As a general rule, it's good to incorporate roundness in a room because that really softens it. It balances out all the hard angles that are always in a building. And rounded furniture allows people to move through the space without feeling like they're going to get stuck anywhere. Rounded coffee tables are definitely a win. You still get a place to put your drinks and a laptop, but there are no corners jutting out into already narrow pathways. Now, a few other examples, rounded back chairs, rounded back sofas, they make a visual difference. They allow light to flow more easily, and they're inviting. They look softer and higher end. You can mimic the effect of curves in your decor as well, like using an arched mirror. And I'll have a lot more on mirrors in the next podcast episode. Or consider a beautiful curved pendant light. Hard lines stop the eye, but curved lines guide it. And in a small space, that visual guidance makes all the difference. Moving on, number 5, furniture on legs. If you take one visual trick from this episode, let it be this. Furniture on legs makes a small space feel larger every time. Why? Because it lets your eye see under and around the furniture. When your sofa, your bed, your nightstands, most or even all of it is lifted up just a little, the room does feel lighter. It's an airiness thing. You're literally showing more floor, which creates airiness and the illusion of more space. Now, you do not need everything on legs, especially not spindly mid-century legs, unless that's your style, but avoid a bunch of big bulky bases that go all the way to the ground, like a skirted sofa and a big trunk for your coffee table, those things that have a big, thick, solid base all the way to the floor. Things like that can be fine for massive homes with square footage to burn, but not in your 600 square foot STR. This is one of those details that guests won't necessarily name, but they'll feel it. The space breathes better, and when your guests feel like they have room to exhale, they're definitely more relaxed and more likely to leave a 5-star review. Next, number 6, big art, not busy walls. So if you have listened to a few of my podcasts, you probably know I love big art in STRs. And that's definitely for a purpose. Gallery walls don't belong in small STRs 99% of the time. I know they're cute in theory, but they usually photograph looking like clutter, especially in a small area. So instead, choose one large piece of art per room, maybe 2 pieces if you have 2 empty walls, and then let the rest of the wall space breathe. Big art adds a sense of scale and sophistication. It feels polished. It feels more finished, more editorial, like you would see in a high-end decorating magazine. And again, large art photographs beautifully. So look for pieces that tie into your color palette. Abstracts are great if you want to keep it neutral and have maybe a bit of bold color. But also bold landscapes or large-scale photography can also work well. Also, hang your art with intention. Don't just eyeball it. Definitely don't hang it way too high. Make sure it's centered to your eye level. So if you'll be mostly seeing this piece of art while you're standing, that means the center of the art should be hung about 60 inches up from the floor. If you'll see the art from mostly a sitting position, hang the art a little lower than that. And hey, if your art feels like too much, it probably is. So just watch for that. Stick with one bold piece if needed and let it own the space. Let's wrap up part 1 of decorating a small STR. We've covered a ton today. You've got a color palette strategy that makes your space feel intentional and cohesive. We've got tips for properly scaled furniture so that you don't accidentally shrink your space. We've gone over vertical storage that works hard and looks good and, incorporates hidden storage. We also want rounded furniture to improve circulation and flow. We've gone over furniture on legs. That's amazing to give visual airiness. And then also we need to use the power of one big piece of art instead of a chaotic gallery wall. And the best part is that none of this is wildly expensive. You just need to know what to look for. These are all design decisions that give you so much bang for your buck, especially when your rental is small and when every inch matters. In the next podcast, part 2, we'll go even deeper. We'll talk lighting, mirrors, flooring, ceilings, space tricks, all of that. So come back for that. I'll also link some other episodes, podcast episodes that talk about small spaces and color. But in the meantime, if you're listening and thinking, okay, I want my small spaces to look like that, but I don't want to do it myself. Guess what? You don't have to. This is what I do. I use specialized decorating so that STRs can earn you max revenue. And I do it fast, sometimes in just a few days. So whether you want a full makeover or just a really smart e-design that you can implement yourself on your own time, feel free to reach out. My contact info will be linked in the description. I have just the right option to make that decorating easy on you. You deserve a space that pulls its weight and makes you more money. Remember, how much or how little revenue you make directly correlates with how good or how bad your decor is. Thanks for listening in today. I hope it was helpful. Stay tuned for part 2. I look forward to talking again at that point.